Sean Ellis for Hellraiser Boxing in partnership with London Live. I'm here at the Limehouse Marina Elite Gym in the offices with Mickey Helliet. Mickey, how's it going?
I'm good, Sean. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. We have just had, well, it's a press day really, it's a production day, ahead of the 30th, Troxy, Judgment Day. Tell me about the card.
Actually, the card of boxing is very good. It's quite a short one by our standards of shows. I think we've got like 8 or 9 fights on, but it's a good quality card. We've got top of the bill. We've got Ben Jones boxing for the WBO Intercontinental title, and we've also got Larry Akandayo fighting for the WBC African, call it the ABU title. His opponent's changed yesterday because the opponent had visa problems. So he's now fighting at Southport. That's a big change for him. But we also have Brandon Brewer, unbeaten 15-0 Canadian on the show. There's a lot of good fights that are going to be on this. It's a good night of boxing. From our point of view, we lost. It's funny because normally when you get pullouts, you think of maybe they struggle with their tickets. You know, like when they haven't sold the tickets, they then bad hand or whatever. But the funny thing is, the guys that are actually on the show have actually all sold more than they usually do. You know, like the excitement of the event, of it being a TV show, seems to sort of
Attract
it. Yeah, it makes it a bit more big time, and more people want to sort of follow the guys. But we've had, like a load of pullouts, and problem is now it's bottlenecking because a lot of the guys have said, "Oh, I can't fight on this one. Can I fight?" So December, we've got a smaller venue. We're back at the Camden Centre, and going to be absolutely rammed that night. Although, who knows, between now and then, no doubt we'll lose some more fights, so we'll see.
So I was speaking to Larry earlier, obviously new signing, first fight with you.
Yeah.
Tell me about how that came about, and you must be looking forward to his first fight.
Definitely looking forward to it. Do you know what, I've seen him for years because I actually used to train boxers myself in St Pancras boxing club, and he was one of the amateurs that used to train in there. I think they came over with the Nigerian national team. Then he was at Haringey, that I've sponsored Haringey Amateur Club for years, so I used to see him in there. He's a good fighter. Technically he can punch, he can box, he can move, he's fast. When he first came to me, I think his big issue was he hasn't at all been active enough. I'd have to agree. No, he hasn't been. He won the prize fighter, and then his career almost tailed off from there. Not boxing frequently enough, not boxing for significant fights. This is a guy, a world-class athlete, not someone that wants to be fighting, go as a typical ticket seller fighting punch bags. He wants to try and test himself and move forwards, and that wasn't happening with his career. He'd done a British title eliminator. He's not actually eligible to fight for the British title. He took the risk of that fight, but it's a bit of a hoax really, because he's even though he won it, he can't actually fight for the British title. So we actually had initially lined up a Commonwealth final eliminator for him, but the opponent has pulled out, so he's now fighting for the ABU title, which it's still a step up. He has an awkward opponent, very difficult, and I think Larry's going to have to really be on his game, and if he stands off this guy, I think he could end up having a hard night. Hopefully he'll suss him out. He's a very intelligent, clever, fast, sharp boxer, so hopefully he can break the guy down, get inside and work him over, hopefully get a stoppage, push him right up the rankings if he beats this guy.
If he gets the win, maybe another win after that, could we potentially see a clash between himself and Sam Eggington? I know he's eligible to fight for that Commonwealth title. Do you think that's something that could happen?
Well, if he wins this, this is the situation politically. If he wins that fight against Lamptey, which will happen his next fight after this, because by then Lamptey will be clear to fight, and we can make that. And it's a good fight. There's a big rivalry between Nigeria and Ghana. And from a media point of view in Africa, television, everything, that is a huge fight for Africa. So we want to make that fight, and we've already had it agreed that can be a final eliminator for the Commonwealth title. So we'll make that after, touch wood, Larry goes and does the business here on the 30th of October. Then we go to the next stage, which will be the final eliminator for the Commonwealth title. Now, there is already a mandatory for the Commonwealth, an Australian guy whose name evades me at this time, but what it will mean would be that probably either the Australian guy fights Eggington and we fight the winner. Alternatively, it could mean that I think Eggington might let go of that title, Commonwealth title, then we fight the Aussie. Whichever way it goes, I'm quite confident actually Larry Akindaya comes out king of the pile, and if he wins the African title, he's going to get a top 30 world rating. If he wins it and then defends it against Lamptey, he's going to go even higher. What I'm hoping is that he can win it, defend it. If we can make the fight of Eggington, absolutely, why not? It's a big difference between talking about making it and actually being done. I think there's a good chance that Eddie Hearn might have other plans for his guy, might want to push him in another direction, which would mean that hopefully Larry would sort of fill into the void that's created by Eggington moving on. Why that would be useful to us is because then obviously that Larry's rating goes higher and we can then look at world title eliminators and moving him, at a stage, which he's only had a handful of fights really. I think he's had, 10 fights. Really, I wouldn't put a 10 fight guy into, by 10 fights I'm looking normally at Southern area, but because of the standard that he's at, and because he's had such gulfs in between fights and inactivity, that he's still improving, he's in the gym, he's like a sort of, close to 20 fight pro. He's not like a raw novice, certainly not like most.
He's like a Vasyl Lomachenko almost. Yeah,
who can be pushed through quite quickly. I mean, I think even Lomachenko was pushed through too quickly, but I think we all understand why that was sort of accepted by the TV networks and everything because of his outstanding amateur career. And Larry had a good amateur career, and that's why we don't need to beat sort of 15 guys that are a gulf below him. Let's go and fight the good guys now. He's ready for it. We've got 2 fights coming up that are better than probably the people he's boxed so far, but they're not necessarily world-class guys, but they're verging. I mean, it'll be a real. If we get past this first fight, then I think the Lamptey fight will be a real yardstick because obviously he fought Eggington, and then we can make comparisons between the two, how they did, and we work out, maybe who we'd favour if they have to box each other.
Yeah, I mean, well, Dale Evans just fought Eggington a week gone, and Larry fought him 2 fights ago, put him down in the 5th, finished it in the 5th, and Eggington beat him on a decision. So that's something that you can kind of go off of.
I think that'd be a first point of comparison. You can't always compare exactly like that, but if Larry keeps fighting the same people and keeps doing a better job and getting a better result against them, then I think we can say, okay, well, surely our noses have to be in front of this guy. Larry's big problem, why he isn't being so prominent, because he's lacked positioning. He hasn't really been able to fight in big fights. So even if we were to contact like the governing bodies now, it'd be very difficult to get him a rating or get him up amongst it because they're going to say who's he for? And at the moment the answer would be well, not really of any prominence. But if we win this fight, we hopefully then fight Lamptey. Following that, we get another sort of a step up fight. He'll be verging on the top 10 in the world.
Alright, so let's switch focus for a second on Ben Jones, chief support for your show on the 30th. I spoke to him today. He's going for his WBO, fighting for the WBO Intercontinental. Super featherweight or featherweight?
Featherweight.
I mean, he's looking good, and I spoke to him and he said he's knocking on a little bit. He's 33, he wants to get it done.
He's an experienced guy. So time for him now to, if he's going to do it,
it's now.
He will never get, but he's never had before, and he will never get again the platform that we've given him here. It's live on TV. He's fighting for a major intercontinental title. If he wins it, he will shoot up. He will be top 10 in the world. He needs to deliver on the night, and I'll tell you, he's not got an easy fight. I mean, I think the guy's 16-1.
Yeah,
like
16-1. Yeah.
Parlagi, who is a real handful. So great for I'm a boxing fan at heart, and this is what we want. We want to see two guys that are good class boxers that are going to take each other on. Both got a good chance of winning. Parlagi's coming over something like 5 days before the fight, so he's got plenty of time to acclimatise and to prepare. And the reason they've asked for that, is stipulated it in the contract, is to give them the best chance they possibly can have. The guy's coming to win. Obviously, only just signed Ben Jones, working with his manager Kaz Evans, and we need now for him to hopefully bring the performance that we're hoping he can come out with. Look, he boxed on one of my shows before. He got knocked out in the round by Stephen Smith, so it's not like we made the fight without any apprehension. I made it with a lot of apprehension, but at the same time, Ben's made it very clear to me he's absolutely not interested in having, umpteen fights against punch bags. He wants to fight someone that can get him up the ratings, that can help him achieve his target of fighting for a world title. And okay, this is the route we've mapped out for him, starting with Parlagi on October the 30th, and the show on London Live, be live on London Live. So he delivers.
Yep. I mean, let's briefly talk about Helliet Matthews. He walked in here 20 minutes ago. He had a little chat. This is something you're very excited about.
Of course.
I'm very excited about. Everybody in here is very happy about. You've secured him the British title fight with Nick Blackwell, and in quick succession from his last fight.
Yeah. Well, the way we sort of looked at it when we ran through it, we were like, well, if we were preparing for a 12-round fight, the first part of that really was constituted the preparations for that fight that we took with Hafner on the last Hellraiser show. He boxed the Hungarian #1. Floored him 3 or 4 times and stopped him.
Yeah.
In the early part of the fight, which really sort of sent out a clear signal that Helliet's now ready to move on from that level, and why not British title? It's a dream for most fighters to fight for the British title, and it came. I actually fancy Helliet to outbox this guy. To be honest, I know Blackwell's a fighter, but I fancy Helliet to outfight him as well.
That's where you think he can take over in that bout if he just keeps him at range, boxes him for 12 rounds.
I think we have to have about 4 different plans minimum, because there's different things that Blackwell can do, and there's different things that Helliet can do to counteract what he does. So we've got our plans all mapped out. There's some things that there's question marks. Helliet's never done 12 rounds. Blackwell has. He's prepared for 12 rounds. He's gonna have a slight edge in experience from that point of view. And the guys he's fought John Ryder, he's fought Billy Joe Saunders. He's boxed on the road at a high level. So he has got an edge in experience, and we're rolling the dice. This isn't a canned sort of result that we're getting. We're boxing a good opponent, but we're fighting for a British title. We have to take a risk at some point, and I think this is a good point to do it, because there's a lot of good middleweights coming through. Always been one of our targets from when we first started working together, me and Helliet, get to the British title. Well, that's one of our goals achieved. We mapped our way very carefully through the ranks. We got him the right exposure at the right time through London Live, and out of that came this opportunity for him to now go and fight for a British title. We're not going there just to compete. We've really prepared and mapped out his preparations so carefully that I honestly believe we'll see the very best Helliet Matthews on the night, and that's the way to give yourself the best chance to deliver and get the win.
When can we see that fight? Where can we watch it? And
that's on November the 14th on Mick Hennessy's Channel 5 show.
Right.
So we will be going. It's in Bristol. We'll be heading over there, and I've worked with Hennessy a lot. He's a mate of mine. I'm pleased to be working with him again on this show. He's a good promoter, actually. He's a very good promoter. So I know it's going to be a big event. It's going to be a massive night for Helliet, for all of us. There's a whole load of people from Watford, from this part of London also. Limehouse going to be going over there to support him. And, we're going to see the best Helliet Matthews on the night. And we're going to hopefully go and deliver a result that will put Helliet in the history books.
Well, we very much look forward to seeing that. Tell us about the reaction that you've received personally from the first show that was on the 2nd of October in Camden.
The reaction was absolutely massive. It was huge. Social media, I've just never, and I've got a lot of Twitter followers, I've never had a response on any event like that. And I'd actually say our next event is probably the biggest I've ever done. We've got 2 major title fights on there. It's a Troxy, which is a venue I've worked with before. It's a great venue. There's a load of things that I think are just going to be really sort of significant in our progress as becoming a major promoter in this country. The first event, I think, really laid the foundations for that, because it's a big step going from non-televised small hall shows. I mean, if you're a boxer, and you imagine Mike Tyson. If Mike Tyson came through the small hall circuit, where there's no TV, no one really takes any notice other than the people that were in the hall on that night, Tyson would have taken years to break through. Would have had to do it really the hard way. The television actually is the key to getting your guys. Look at that. I mean, for example, within 48 hours of running our last show, Helliet Matthews signs a contract for the British title. Darryl Williams got offered a major contract with a major promoter in the US. They saw it, they loved it instantly. Thing with Darryl, who came off a great win on the night, winning the Southern area, he didn't have an extensive amateur career. Makes a big difference for me as his manager. I'm not just going to, Darryl, go your own way now. That's he's ready to be stepped up more than what he has been, but I don't want to roll the dice with him.
Or rush it just yet.
He's improving so quick. Why would we do it now? I want to see how far we can take Darryl. I don't want to put him in at his level, which I think if we signed the kind of, it was giving up a lot of our freedom. So really, from my point of view, that wasn't the right thing. I want Darryl Williams, all my boxers, I want them to earn the absolute maximum that they can. I realise this is a short career. I try and help them as much as I can with, even the money once they've made it, how to invest it, how to keep it safe, because money's easy come, easy go.
Yeah. When will we see Darryl then? I know there's been a shift or a change in date.
There was, obviously, because Helliet's fighting for the British title on the 14th of November, which was when we originally had our date. We've moved it to December the 4th, and Darryl will be defending his Southern Area title against Kelvin Young on that show. Again, it's a step up for Darryl. I want to step him up, but what I don't want to do is sign him up, put him in an elite level, and be rolling the dice every time he fights at this moment of time, or tossing a coin. It's not rolling the dice. If you roll the dice and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5, you win, 6 you lose, then it's worth, maybe you say we take the gamble, but I don't want to toss a coin where it's like 50-50. Down the line we will, absolutely, but at the moment I'd like to, but there's a long list of fighters that are ahead of him in the ratings that I'd really favour Darryl to beat quite handily, and he could get well paid for beating them, so that's what I want to go for first, is beat these guys. The TV response to Darryl Williams was absolutely humongous. I mean, it's really boosted
his profile.
The profile of Darryl Williams went through the ceiling, went over the stars. So I want to keep building that, and like I say, I want to put Darryl in a position where he can earn enough money doing what we're doing, so that when he finishes with it in a few years, down the line still, but when he's a young guy still at the moment, but when he gets to the end, he's got a house, he's got, he's all sorted out.
I mean, well, it's very exciting times for yourself, your stable of fighters, and Hellraiser Boxing in general. We certainly look forward to the 30th at the Troxy, and moving forward on the 4th of December. Where did you say that was? Bethnal Green?
It will be, no, the 4th of December is at the Camden Centre.
Back at the Camden Centre. Well, we'll catch up with you again before then. Until then, take care.
Cheers very much, Sean.